Hello, everybody. We are back for another Voices for a New Humanity episode. And my name is Eliza Bloom Robinson, and I am the voice for a new humanity. But I've been loving these conversations with my consciousness buddies. And today I have my friend Fleur with me. She is an artist. She paints the new, the brilliance. She brings the brilliance, amplifies the brilliance into her paintings of the new, individually, collectively. She does painting workshops. She's this amazing, brilliant light. So thank you, Fleur, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It's very exciting to have a conversation.
Yes, and I always like to just say this because my intention a few years ago was to be really global, and all of a sudden I'm talking to all these people who are global. So you're in Bristol, UK.
Yeah.
Yes, wonderful.
Yeah, not too far from Avalon, as where Fleur is.
I love it. And I am in Arkansas, US, and most people go, "Where's that?" So one of the things that I wanted to really talk to you about, because it came up in one of our group calls recently, was this idea of, we were talking about how sort of our language and this new humanity, which is something that is totally new in consciousness, that is being birthed as we speak. Like we have different magic and different superpowers and a whole different way of being on the world, on the planet, in this new humanity. And so we were talking about different, how language seems to mean, like I can use the same words I've used a decade ago, but it means something different. And so then we went from that conversation. Somebody said to me, she goes, "Well, do you speak the light language?" I'm like, "I don't know what that means." And then somebody said, "Well, Fleur does." So what can you tell us, Fleur, about languages, what that even means?
Well, light language is definitely another form of language, but it tends to veer towards sound rather than actual words. I say it's a little bit like the word namaste, where if you translate that, you've got like this whole long sentence in English that means namaste, and light language is a little bit like that. It also comes in a lot of different forms, so it can be more languagey sometimes, and then almost more like almost like how dolphins and whales communicate, which I'm sure that's light language as well, of course.
Right.
So there's many different types of light language. Some of it's quite guttural, some of it's very soft, some of it's very rapid. So it's like encoded language, and it tends to go right into our cellular structures rather than sort of as having to intellectualize it. And my experience of speaking it with groups of people is that most people within the group will hear the language, the sounds, as different to someone else. So one person in the group might hear it as almost like a Japanese sounding language, and someone else might think it was more like Native American, or Hebrew or something. I mean, Hebrew, there's lots in Hebrew that is light language anyway. I mean, I'm saying all of this as if I'm an expert, and I'm not. I just speak it. You know, it's a bit like someone asking me to talk about the English language and what is that all about, and you know, so well, I don't really know. I just sort of speak it. It's just part of me. I speak it. So yeah, but that's my experience of it. Is that it's very much about sound, frequencies, really.
So a couple things come to my mind as you're speaking, and one is, it sounds like the whole science of chanting or toning or all of that could easily lay into aspects of light language.
Yeah.
The sound of vibration. The other thing that's occurring to me is that, you know, I teach some spirituality and some Bible history and some things like that. Not so much Bible history now. I forgot everything I ever learned about that, but I used to. But one of the things that we focused on was the difference of the ancient languages, the Hebrew, the Aramaic, and that each sound had a vibrational meaning, where we don't have that in English. We have
Mm.
it, it's all mental science. So it really kind of lays into, it's not this brand new thing, it's more of an ancient thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Been around for, well, since forever, really, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel that the time that we're in now, it's being a lot what I would call activated within people. A lot more people are remembering it. I know quite a lot of people that can speak light language, and there's, you can look people up on like YouTube as well, who
Would you
speak
be
it like
willing
quite
to
openly.
speak something for us?
Yeah, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, and just to say as well, it's also a language that has sort of, I can do signing with it as well as you can also write it, so it's sort of multi-dimensional in that aspect too.
How does it get written? I mean, it's not going to be like English language, English letters, the alphabet.
No, I mean, it can look like sort of squiggles and like some of the ancient scriptures. Sort of, it's that really, like, yeah. And there's also, actually, just to say, there's the first light language that I spoke was the universal language of light and love, which is a bit like English is in the world. Lots of people understand English, and it's sort of like as it's called, a universal language that's understood by everybody, so to speak. Yeah, and I didn't actually even know what light language was when I started speaking it either. I
How
was
did
just
it
like,
come to you? Did it come to you like almost a channeling of tongues, or did it come in a meditation, or just come out of you, or how did it first come to you?
well, it was where it got, what I would say is where it got activated was at an event that I went to, which was the summer solstice 2012, and I went to this event with a group of people who I'd been to quite a few events with. And during that event, I felt like I kind of had a skyrocket of white light energy run through my body. I felt like all my molecules disintegrated and then came back together again. It was a very odd experience, and it's hard to describe.
Yes.
And I wasn't expecting it. Didn't go there for that. I
Right.
have a nice time, but
Right.
not that it wasn't nice too. But so that happened. It was a very extreme experience. And then after that, it was about 2 months later, I can remember I was driving along in my car, and I started to say these words over and over again, and I thought, that's odd, that sounds like another language. And then I got, oh, this is the language of universal light and love. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever that is, and then it just, as these things happen, I gradually sort of found out more about it. Someone would say something, and I think, oh, that's, that sounds like what I'm doing, and and it just gradually unfolded, really. So it was a real, for me, I think of it as like a remembering, that the remembering was activated in me at that event, and then it's just sort of, and then it's
Yeah,
unfolded
that's
from that place.
so fascinating. I'm remembering right now that I met a gal about a year ago, probably, who did, I think she might have done that. She was speaking in some other language. It might have been light language. I'm going to have to go back and look her up and see if, call her up and say,
Yeah,
is that what you're
yeah,
doing? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But I know that whole dismantling experience is like the cells just disintegrate and dismantle and come back. I've had that also.
yeah.
There's definitely no words for that. And you
No,
come back different.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah,
People go come back from where? It's like from nowhere, from everywhere, from
yeah,
the allness.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Okay. So, well, I could do like an activation, I guess,
Oh,
for what would you like me to do an activation on?
well, if we say new humanity, it's really big. If we say love and light, that's really big. So would you, something like that, or something, what's moving in you? Something more tangible, maybe?
Uh, what about something like bringing in a greater grace and ease for people to find their own kind of expansions, and what, however that looks for the new humanity, what, the various sort of encoded expansions that can come in for people, but in a graceful way. I'll see if I can move backwards a little bit so that if I start signing, you can see what I'm doing.
And as you're moving back, I just point out your beautiful painting you've been working on recently over your shoulder.
Yeah, it's getting, the sun's getting quite, I don't know if that helps or not. I'm going quite dark. Anyway, yes, so, okay. So if we just, anyone who's watching can just kind of focus on your breathing, can have your eyes open or closed, whichever you feel most comfortable with. Nyan yana sakoro tiana yana. Boro tiana yana saki amusukura tiana. Dosiana runa. Ma nyorna ama. Taki an umusu. Taki an umusu. Ti orunyana. Nosukuma. Ti orunyana. Domanyana saki. Domonyana saki. Taki atakono suruta. Taki anasakoro tiana. Nosukuro tiana. Nosukuro tiana. Mayana saki. Mayana saki. Mayana saki. Doronyana sena. Dokum. A no sako.
Oh, that, oh my gosh, no words. Brilliant, exquisite music. And I could feel my like my own expansion with a brilliant grace and ease. Oh, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, very brilliant. Oh my gosh. I think it's time to wrap up, and I don't want to stop, but I am so grateful to know you. I am so humbled and awed and appreciative of that blessing, that activation. I'm going to post links to Fleur in the description so all of our listeners can find you and reach out and know that there are so many magical, mysterious, yummy things happening in New Humanity now. We're being open to receive them, to remember them, to be them. And so thank you, Fleur, for your light language, your sharing of light language.
You're very welcome. It was a pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Yeah, it comes from the whole of the universe.
Yeah, I can feel that. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks.